This message comes from Greenlight. Ready to start talking to your kids about financial literacy? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app that teaches kids and teens how to earn, save, spend wisely, and invest with your guardrails in place. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Join millions of parents and kids building healthy financial habits together on Greenlight. Get started risk-free at greenlight.com/Wondery.
Looking for your best sleep ever? Sleep Number smart beds are literally made for you. They adapt to your changing needs. So whether you're dealing with sore muscles or running hot at night, your bed automatically adjusts for optimal comfort. Want softer, firmer, cooler, warmer? With personalized firmness settings and temperature control that cools up to 20 times faster than leading competitors, you'll get the perfect sleep environment every night. Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed? So you can choose your ideal comfort on either side. And now it's the Sleep Number Everything Smart Bed sale. Every smart bed and base are on sale during our Memorial Day event, up to 50% off, limited time, exclusively at a Sleep Number store near you. See store or sleepnumber.com for details.
This is Ricey for my guy Josh Arnold. Does thinking about retirement make you uncomfortable? Sometimes the anxiety from wondering if you've saved enough can be overwhelming. But what if I told you that you could ease those tensions in just 48 minutes? My guy, Josh Arnold, Mr. Money Talk, can sit down with you and get you on the right track for your financial future. Josh has navigated it all when it comes to uncertain market and economic conditions, and he'll always provide straight talk, never sugar-coated advice on how to reach the finish line with your retirement goals. Don't let your financial worries give you an ulcer or keep you from calling Josh right now. His 48-minute, no-obligation consultation could be just what you need to feel better about your future. Call Josh today at 952-925-5608 and set up your free 48-minute, no-obligation consultation.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice.
Patrick Royce is a paid endorser.
You're going to ask me something. I believe. What was I going to ask? I forgot what I was going to ask. Well, I know what I want to ask you. Yeah. You and I are both old enough to remember if the Yankees and the Dodgers were preparing to play in a World Series, nothing else would matter in the American sports scene. And now you wonder if they'll get a 10 share, don't you?
Yeah.
You know, if they can, with Ohtani versus Judge.
I bet they get a 10
share.
I bet they do.
Well, and those, I saw that on the Padres and the Dodgers, they were getting a 29 in Los Angeles and a 50 in San Diego.
Wow.
But if you get a 29 in Los Angeles, that's pretty good. In New York, I would guess the Yankees will get a 40, won't they, in New York?
You would think.
Especially
like now that the Mets are done, and yeah, for sure.
I don't like the start times on the East Coast.
What are we doing now? 8?
Well, it'll be 8 o'clock their time.
8 o'clock, yeah. And
I don't like when they're still playing at 11.
Yeah, and they're so afraid of the NFL that they're not playing Sunday. Sunday used to be Sunday night. Kirby hits them,
They're not going to play a World Series game on a Sunday.
No, they're playing Friday and Saturday, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday in the other town.
It's going to help that both the Jets and Giants stink. The Mets are out of, you know what I mean? It'll help. It'll help that they're pretty much the only show in town in New York.
Did the Giants lose last night?
They got crushed
not
by
the
Phillies.
Giants. Did the
Mets did.
The Jets lose last night?
They did to the Steelers.
Yeah.
They got humiliated.
Did they finally lose that game?
Steelers had 31 unanswered with Russell Wilson at quarterback.
I know those. I watched it for 5 minutes, and at halftime, I don't watch. You know what? You got the YouTube, or what's your TV provider? YouTube TV, or you
cable.
Still use cable? Okay.
Cable.
Because on this YouTube,
I don't do that.
Here's what you can do. You go, live. It says live, and so if the Vikings and the
Lions are playing
yesterday, you go to it. You miss half the game in the car doing something. You say key plays, and they show you like 35 plays in 5 minutes.
It's pretty cool.
And then you don't have to watch the game.
It was too nice a day to be in the house.
Oh, God, yes. It was fantastic. Not, today, though, 80, 82?
Something like that, yeah.
The top's been down. We're setting a world record for walks.
What is the latest in the season we've had a Royce walk?
Got to be yesterday. Well, today.
Today will be?
Oh, today I've already done it.
Wow.
Getting over here.
An October 21st Royce
Where's
walk. What are you looking for?
Phone?
Uh-oh.
You probably set it in the other
Did you
room.
leave it in the boys' room?
No, here it is.
You've set it on his computer. He tends to lose his
I
phone.
cannot ridicule a man who loses
Well, you asked me once where your phone was when you were holding it years ago.
And with the bride, I walk in at least 5 times a week and say, "Where's your phone?" She said, "What do you care?" I said, "I got to call my phone." Okay, it's somewhere in the house. And then here's the problem.
It's 77 right now.
Here's the problem. I get up early. I'm an early riser, but once in a while I go back for the nap.
Sure.
Right? And then when I go back for the nap, when I get up from the nap, I can't remember where I put my phone, so then I got to go up and get her phone.
Sure.
But sometimes I've silenced the phone, so it's only on vibrate.
Yep.
So you got to hear.
You really got to tone down
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
Right
man.
now, if my phone's on silent in my house and I can't find it, I'm not going to find it
Okay.
because I can't get the house quiet.
Can't get that. Oh, yeah,
It's a little noisy
Yeah.
at the estate.
You
Yeah.
don't still have a lot of visitors, do you?
Oh, Pat.
Were the visitors sitting next to you rooting for the Lynx last night or not?
I found a place to be alone.
Okay,
Yeah.
good, okay.
I mean, on the property, but
I got a question. You big dignified older gentlemen that we are.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of that? Did you think the world was a better place when an NBA coach wore a suit
yes,
and a college coach wore a suit or a nice apparel?
yeah.
And a women's coach wore she could wear her pants but it wasn't something that you took out of the closet that was rolled in a ball.
That's how that
and
New
it
York
was
coach
sweatshirt.
dressed.
Yeah, well, and
She could haunt a house.
yeah,
Whoever.
she's an Aussie.
Is she?
Aussie.
I
Yeah.
only say haunt a house. I don't mean that in a cruel way.
No.
I mean, she looked like the mom on what was the spooky TV show back in the 60s? The funny show.
Oh, the
Addams Family?
no, the other one, Munsters.
She looked like the mom.
The mom and the Munsters.
Yeah, so there, see a haunted house. I wasn't being a
Yes.
sexist.
No.
It's a haunted house deal.
The mom and the Monsters wasn't bad.
That's right. See,
Yes.
that backs me up, too.
She had to fight off the husband.
Is
all
that the
time.
one where
That's the one where the husband always wanted to.
But he was the slick-looking guy.
Yes. He was always interested in the apricots.
That's the one with the lurch, right? That was Lurch.
I get confused. I
Yeah,
think
there were
Lurch-
2 shows
Yes.
of
And the
people
Addams
who lived in a
Family.
haunted house.
Munsters was more popular, but the Addams Family was better.
I think I'm thinking Addams Family.
Addams Family. Well, she was good looking too.
Well, that's that's how the New York coach looked.
Okay, all right. We could bring back Addams Family. Addams Family had humor that would work today, I think.
Is that did they have Thing? Was
Yes,
that the Thing?
I believe they had things.
Yeah, I'm confused on my haunted shows.
I'm
I
not
don't
sure
know.
who had what.
It's getting to be a long time.
Yes, it is.
100
It's a
years ain't what it used to
long
be.
time. They made a redo movie about 10 years ago, didn't they, Reavers? Didn't they made one of them? The Addams Family made a movie.
I think so, because I know it's been on in our home.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was a couple of years ago. I don't remember.
Who's
Well,
the?
we must discuss the Lynx, though. 'Cause we are
more than
outraged.
happy to, because those referees were there
We
for
were
only one
outraged,
reason.
Yes, to quote Earl Weaver.
They were there to
with,
bleep us.
And Al,
I don't want to claim to be the kiss of death, but the only reason I recall the Lynx were playing at that time was because of Patrick's Twitter account. I went, oh, crap, the Lynx are playing.
Yes.
They had the lead 60-58 when I tuned in. They scored 2 points the rest
That's
of the way.
right. And Nafisa missed the layup.
Oh, the missed layup
Would have
was.
won the game. Everybody's saying she got hit on the left arm. If she got hit on her non-shooting arm with these officials, you got no chance to get a foul.
Right.
Because it was brutal.
Mm-hmm.
And Game 4 here was just as brutal in favor of the Lynx as it was Game 5. It was almost in Game 4, as they said. There was one point where the Lynx at halftime had 6 fouls. Brianna Stewart had 3. Wow. Although the way she played, they were lucky she got off the floor. But here's my point on this whole thing. The team you played was at home, and they choked.
Yeah, they didn't look good.
They were terrible. Their second star, Aneska, was 1 for 19. 1 for 19. Brianna Stewart, their superstar, was not good again. She got a bunch of rebounds. But beyond that, they played terrible. They shot 30% from the field. They shot 2 for 23 from 3. And they beat you.
Yeah.
So stop whining.
Who's the
Start
gal
talking
with the
about how
white hair?
you played.
Courtney.
Courtney Williams, who's been great.
But she wasn't
She
yesterday.
was terrible yesterday.
Terrible.
And she basically admitted it after the game.
She couldn't hit a 3.
No, she couldn't do anything. Plus, she dribbled to no avail to get to places and stuff. She was one of the 2 that they brought in as free agents, and she made a big difference with this team. She's a bit of a warrior. I mean, she really plays hard. But boy, last night she got to the point that they took her out there for a while in the start of the overtime or the end of regulation.
I have to think they'll go to 7 games next year for the title.
They're going to.
Yeah.
But will anybody survive? If they don't start calling fouls, they're all going to be like in a hospital.
Well, the other thing I noticed is in the women's game, there's not a lot of offensive rebounding by the team on offense.
Put it back up and score.
Yeah,
You mean?
yeah.
Well, our lasses are short. You know, the center's had a bad back and was in and out of the lineup. She battled, but they're undersized.
Is it the Caitlin effect that we all paid attention to this?
No.
Well, it was for me. I wouldn't have. It was for me.
I already been in a fight today with the Caitlin fan, so I don't think this series needed Caitlin.
I'm not saying it needed Caitlin, but
it got him interested.
It got you interested. It made you realize there was a WNBA title game.
Mm-hmm. So Sports
with 19,000 people in the house.
Yes, here. But they, that when they played the Sparks, the last time Reeve complained that said we got robbed in Game 5, when they played the Sparks here, they had 19,000 in 2016 when they lost. So they've done it before, but at the prices they're charging now, I'm sure it's.
Well, I remember.
She's helped, but I do not think the finals needed her.
I do remember their first run in 2011 because I was working at the gal station at the time, in addition to helping you guys out, and we did a pre-game party at somewhere down there, and I remember people were having a hard time finding tickets.
Really,
I do recall that from that first run that they had in 2011.
I like the game because it moves along because of the absence of foul calls. Yeah,
but sometimes you'd like to see him now. One thing I was struck by until last night was making shots. Mm-hmm. We are better at making shots, but last night we reverted to 1996.
I think some powers that be decided that a founding member of the league that hasn't won a title yet has to win a title.
I don't think it helped that the commissioner had a New York Skyline T-shirt.
How about that? See, I told you, Joe.
You know what that is? Unawareness.
Yes.
That is, she's an idiot. She just sits there, and they never release anything on the official. They never send out a statement that we find this person.
Well,
or unfortunately, if they had the 2-minute, the NBA sends out the 2-minute report on what happened the last 2 minutes with the officiating, whether it was right or wrong. With these people, it would be like reading the Bible. It would be so there'd be so many screw-ups.
But Patrick, forgive me if you mentioned this. I was listening to something. ESPN cuts to the huddle with New York, and she's telling, I believe it was Stewart, if you get fouled, embellish it. And they cut the mic off right then and there. The fix was in.
Well, it was not her saying the refs have guaranteed me if you dive, they're going to call a foul. It was embellish it because our referees are so rotten, they'll call it. Right. So it wasn't a fix. It was her being smart enough to say, I'm sure Cheryl might have been saying the same thing in the other idol.
Probably. Are salaries in that league capped?
Yes, they're very modest. They've gotten better, but they're still very modest. That's why Collier and Stewart are partners in Unrivaled. They're starting this league in Miami, 3-on-3. Going to play January and February, and it's 30 players are going to play down there, 5-person teams. Going to have a 3-on-3 league, and they're going to get nice. They got enough backers. They're going to get nice salaries, so they don't have to go to Europe and Asia and stuff to supplement their income. So it's on the upswing. Although everybody's pointing out the league still lost $40 million this year.
Yeah.
Even with Caitlin.
How could that be? $40 million.
The league, not a team. The league lost $40 million.
No, I know the league, but
It won't be as bad next year because they got a new TV contract from ESPN and then some other things that are worth more money.
Which did have a Caitlin Clark effect, right? Didn't I read that somewhere? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, she had a better rating for this whatever round they got eliminated in than that. But I did write that the finals didn't need Caitlin as a little aside, and it became some guy who's SI's got like these local guys that write the local SI now this website, and they say they're Sports Illustrated in the Twin Cities or whatever. But I got taken apart today on that.
Oh no!
For claiming. For saying that finals didn't need Caitlin, but also for claiming that I discovered her.
Well, you did discover her.
Yes, I did discover her, but there was a twinge of satire
Well,
attached
I would
to
hope
that.
so, yeah.
Attached to that. That didn't... the fella didn't quite pick up on that part, I guess.
Which I find shocking.
That's right.
We're claiming that we discovered this goofball who's running for Hennepin County Commissioner, Marissa Simonetti. Yeah, we claim we discovered her.
Okay.
Yeah, we did.
She
likes to put tarantula on people that are tenants of her house, so she had a little bit of a court day today.
Oh, that's right.
Threw the spider down the steps.
Is she, what is she,
I think she's an independent businesswoman, Pat.
Yes, who wants to,
run for office, and we gave her our backing without knowing a damn thing about her. We thought, well,
she got the
voice of reason.
Yeah.
Well, no, Pat. What she did is she got the
That's what I called her.
Kenny and Reaver's seal of approval.
Yeah.
Is what she got.
A
Yes.
very attractive gal,
and a little on the conservative
maybe
side.
no-go zone.
Didn't want to run a train for $4 billion from Chanhassen
she's a smart,
to downtown, which nobody's going to ride on because it takes 3 hours.
Right.
Yeah.
And we had to tear apart Kenwood to get there.
Yeah.
Maybe that. Yeah. Okay. Maybe she'd be against that. That'd be good.
Before we, I know
By
you guys.
the way,
go ahead.
I saw the choo-choo come by here.
Was she empty?
Empty is this? Why?
Pat, there's never anybody on it. I see it once a day coming by here.
Man,
no one rides the damn
pandemic took care of it, man. It takes too long.
So before I know you guys want to discuss thoroughly the Vikings-Lions game from yesterday, yes. I do have to make mention, and I've got it queued up for whenever you want. It can be now, it can be later, whenever. But we got great response because on Friday, Patrick, we had a Best of Garage Logic.
Okay.
And so what I decided to run was the 4-year anniversary of the passing of the great man, which I would have guessed it was 2 years ago.
Okay.
So we replayed that episode when you came in and sat with Joe for GL, and I had followed the 15 Sid rules. The clip from you guys doing that back then.
Go ahead and play.
Do you want to do it now, or do you want to do it after the Viking talk? Okay,
right.
Here we go.
All right. I've come up with what I consider to be the 15.
Wait a minute, stop it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's not from 4 years ago.
No. This is the original that I played.
The original.
That I played
the original
the
Sid
day
rules.
of Sid.
This
the day
goes back 25 years.
Yeah.
Correct.
At least.
So I unearthed that the day of the show that we paid
You
tribute
know
to the
how
great
many
man.
years we go back?
Yeah. Well, I
40.
told you. 100 years ain't what it used to be.
Nor are 40.
So this is the debut.
This is the original.
Of the Sid rules.
Correct.
When was my voice ever this squeaky?
Yeah.
and high?
But a little high pitched back then, yes.
Back then.
All right. I've come up with what I consider to be the 15 basic three-star rules. These I had to throw out the sports management course. We'll just have to have that covered under another rule.
Monday night, prize distribution announced.
Should I read the 15 three-star rules? And we're going to announce the prize distribution. These are not necessarily in order. We will later put them in order of importance. Okay, this is it. For Charles Hallman out there who started all this, not your Charlie Hallman, the other Charlie Hallman, who said he wanted an update version of the rules.
Here they are.
Number 1, set up the loss. Number 2, straddle the fence.
Set up the loss includes Ray of Hope.
Set up the loss, Ray of Hope. Yes, okay. Let's start all over again. Number 1, set up the loss, provide a ray of hope.
Right.
Number 2, straddle the fence. And the addendum to that is until you figure out which side's going to win.
Fine.
Number 3, blame the officials. Number 4, revise history. Number 5, you are not part of the media. Number 6, more tickets could have been sold than the capacity of the stadium.
That was a famous
Number
myth.
7, always side with the favorites, never with the underdogs.
That's right.
Number 8, supply the proper emotional state. In other words, if a team does not seem despondent after defeat, and you feel they should be,
You just say
they were despondent. Number 9, claim any Minnesotan, lobby for the return of any former Twin, Viking, etc. I put all those together. Number 10, no quote is too bland to be included, no fact too minute. Okay. Number 11, use disconnected thoughts and convoluted sentences.
You combined a couple there. That's
Number
fine.
12, silence the critics. Number 13, blame the fans.
Yep.
In other words, not being loud enough, not being support enough, being too stupid. Mock the geniuses is kind of an addendum.
And
to that.
Betzold has explained the entire genius theory in his extraordinary
Mock the
extra class work.
Mock the geniuses. Number 14, throw down the gauntlet. The most recent example I can think of is when Jack Morris was about to sign with Toronto, and the gauntlet was tossed in front of Carl Pohlad and Andy McPhail, and they didn't accept it.
Usually, the gauntlet, though, is laid down when you know that it will result in you looking good when it's picked up.
And number 15, law of diminishing goals. A great example of this is the fact that this season started with the brimming optimism that the Vikings would become the first team to play a Super Bowl in their home stadium, and now a successful season will be defeating the Packers to go 9-7.
This is the law of diminishing goals.
These are the 15.
Oh, the law of diminishing goals.
There might be no more important one than the law of diminishing goals.
That's so fantastic.
And silence the critics was, see, I told you. See, I told you. That kind of thing.
Oh. You know, the proper provide the proper emotional state. I'll never forget that Bernsey was going to be done. I think they already told us he wasn't. Be going into the last game, and
was he retiring? Did they say?
Well, yeah, I think he was being fired, but. I think the story was already out, and Sid's column was about how fired up the boys would be because they loved Bernsey and they got their ass kicked. Like, I don't know what the score was, 42-6 or something like that. But Sid told us they were going to be ready to run through a wall, and they went out there and laid down. They didn't, it was great.
So that had to be followed up with some version of law of diminishing goals.
Yes. Well, it was.
Well, that's what he said. You thought you're going to play, because wasn't Bernsey's last year the year? No, that would have been Denny.
Yeah.
When it was here in 91. Yeah, that would have been Denny.
No, that wasn't even Denny yet. 91 was...
Sure. Denny replaced Bernsey, didn't he?
That wasn't Bernsey's last year, was it?
I thought Denny started in 91, or I thought Denny started. I can look it up.
No, Denny went 10 years, and I think he started in 92. I think he started in 92.
Okay,
I think that was Bernsey.
Oh, you might be right.
That might have been the law of diminishing goals, yes. Anyway, where that was created.
We were fired up to go 9-7 and beat the Packers.
Vikings, how much you watch? It was a pretty nice
day.
Pretty nice day.
I saw the end.
Yeah, it was a hell of a game.
I kept saying, he's going to miss the kick. They're going to, because this team kind of had the feeling that they got the horseshoe in the right spot, right? Yeah. And I thought, They kept kneeling down. I go, he might miss the kick.
People were mad that they got that 5-yard penalty because they wanted him to let the kid try a 68-yarder.
How great would that have been?
I said to myself, I'm going to make my decision about the Vikings based on that game.
Okay.
Are they real? Is this real? I was going to wait till the Detroit game. They played well enough to they're going to have a fine year.
Yeah.
They played well enough that they might lose 3 or 4 more, but they're going to go to the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
They did. What got them in good position was when they got the free touchdown when Pace picked up that fumble and ran in.
Because they were getting carved up on defense.
Before that.
Is Goff that good?
Yeah. He's improved a lot.
He's accurate.
Yes.
He's blessed with a very good offensive line. Now, for instance, Thursday, they're going to play a very good quarterback who has no protection whatsoever. The Rams' offensive line is awful, and so I don't. People are very worried about that game, but
Is that game at L.A.?
Yes. Yep.
LA. Yes.
Short week for the boys.
That's right, Joe.
Short week, but then you get the long week after that. So,
Well, not only that, but I think they go to the Ram. They come home and host the Colts, who are not
terrible.
very good.
Yes.
Then they play.
By the way, they just put the Colts-Vikings game later in the day.
They did not.
Yes, they put it on, Sunday night, I think.
You're joking.
We just announced that down there. I think they flexed that game. So
So they didn't even flex it to 3. They flexed it to 7
I think
p.m.
to the night game. I'm not sure, but I know they flexed it. Yeah.
Oof.
So
I like a good flex.
You like a nice
good
flex?
I like a flex to Sunday night.
All right.
Yes, the fan. We don't care about the fans. We can tell you when
That's
we're
right.
starting the game anytime we want.
Like,
to.
what was that other game in Pittsburgh a couple weeks ago with the lightning storm?
Yeah.
I think kickoff was at 9 o'clock locally. That thing didn't end till 1 in the morning.
Right.
When's the last time a player got killed by lightning?
It's been a while, Pat.
I don't think it's how many
Has
times
any professional athlete ever been killed by lightning?
We got a couple hit on the golf course.
Maybe a soccer
Didn't we
player.
have a pitcher? We had a pitcher that got struck by lightning. It's come up before with you guys.
Yeah,
I don't think
did.
a football player's
Let me
ever
look
been
this
hit by
up.
lightning.
Never kill him.
Maybe a soccer player or two.
Here's my theory on lightning.
Here we go.
You got to be able to see it before you clean the field up.
Yeah, but now they're blowing whistles if it's 10 miles away.
I was at the College World Series of Softball in Oklahoma City, and it was a bluebird day. Mm-hmm. But, Oklahoma
That's
City.
Tornado Alley.
Oklahoma City in May
Yeah,
is got some issues.
that's right.
And there was some black clouds that you could barely see over in the distance. There was some lightning in there. We never got a hint of it, but we had a 3-hour delay for the light because it was in within 8 miles.
Right. Golf courses will blow you off the course if it's within 8 miles.
When has a lightning bolt ever gone 8 miles?
Right.
That's what I wanted.
Be a long one.
I got it right here. August 24th, 1919. Cleveland Indians pitcher Ray Caldwell, with 1 out to go in the game, was struck by lightning and knocked to the ground. After several minutes came to, finished the game.
That isn't the guy
Really?
that got killed. is
No,
it?
he
Ray
didn't die.
That was Ray Chapman that got hit. Roy Chapman was a hitter who got hit in the head and died.
Okay.
Not by lightning.
No, by a pitched baseball.
Ooh, ouch.
Roy
I
Chapman.
don't
Look
think-
up Roy Chapman.
All right.
How many twins would get up after being knocked out by lightning and finish the game?
It wouldn't be Carlos.
No.
Wouldn't be Carlos. How about the fact that Carlos had that plantar fasciitis, right?
Yep.
This Nimmo from the Mets playing out in left field. He can barely walk. He's going up to the plate. He's got the plantar fasciitis too. But you know what he's doing? Playing.
That's right.
Trying to
Are
play.
those warts on your foot?
No, I don't think so. That's plantar warts. You can take those off with your own. You can have the wife take them off with a kitchen knife. That's fine. No,
But they itch,
You might
man.
bleed to death.
No,
This
they're
is-
bad. You got to
this
use
is-
like a cheese scraper.
Yeah, this is interior. It's interior.
Okay.
It's inside. It's
Yeah.
the tendon that runs from the heel to the back of your toes.
Roy Chapman was the owner of Smarty Jones. Are you thinking of the right name?
No.
Okay.
No.
Did you say
Ray
Roy
Chapman.
or
Might
Ray?
be Ray
Ray
Chapman.
Chapman.
Who's Smarty Jones?
The horse.
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 The underdog horse. Everybody loved.
Oh, here we go.
Smarty?
Chapman was hit in the head by a pitch thrown by pitcher Carl Mays and died 12 hours later.
In what year?
That was
20?
August 17th, 1920.
1920. Yep. And that was when none of those sissy helmets or anything were up there. We didn't have. Everybody wasn't even wearing helmets when the Twins first came. Right?
His death led baseball to establish a rule requiring umpires to replace the ball when it becomes dirty.
Oh, really?
So maybe I didn't see it very well.
Unlike now, do you know, if Calvin was still an owner of a baseball team, you know what would have killed him? Seeing all these baseballs get thrown out. Every time it nicks the ground, they throw it out.
That makes no sense because balls in play don't get replaced.
No. Calvin would go insane.
There was the great
Calvin
video.
traded Mickey Hatcher for Kenny Landreau because Mickey was throwing too many free baseballs over the
Are you
plexiglass.
kidding?
That's always been my theory, that Calvin got sick of him, and BP'd throw away,
20 baseballs.
20 balls to be so popular.
Have you seen Strauss on all the batting helmets?
Yeah.
Yes.
I looked it up.
what
It's a
is
German apparel company. And they
They're
bought
trying-
all
they're trying
helmets
to-
in
they're
baseball.
trying to sell sporting equipment here in
Strauss,
this country.
it's a German apparel company.
They're
People
sneaky
make your
over there.
uniforms.
They're sneaky over there. They get into the
Well, this is
market
over here.
Yeah, but I know they're over here, but they're German.
I know, but,
they're always plotting.
Well, they are, and they have that Teutonic efficiency.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Meanwhile, our Twinks, they can't get anybody to pay what they want for the patch. The patch, the advertising patch. I think there's 8 or 10 teams that haven't sold it yet.
Somebody got is that what I was seeing, a Marathon oil patch?
Yes.
Yep.
They're selling.
And Strauss.
Can
That's
you at
German.
least, I don't know, this appears to me, can we at least have the logo match the uniform? Can you change, you know what I mean? Because
but they want
the
you
Marathon
to see it. They want
stands
you to
out.
see it. That's what they get. That's what they're selling.
But it looks so tacky.
Yes, it does. But then
It'll
again,
be the president one of these days. He'll come out with the STP thing on his jacket and Pepsi and
McDonald's.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, Trump would do it in a heartbeat if they paid him.
He might come out with one that says Iran, though. That wouldn't be good.
No, I don't even. Well, he might.
I don't know.
2 weeks to go.
2 weeks to go. I've given up. I got no hope.
Yeah.
I just can't wait for his inauguration speech when he defecates. It's going to be good.
How are you doing on the Diet Cokes?
Yeah, I thought we were cutting back.
I am cutting back.
Well, how many is that today?
2. This is only my
that's
second one, but
nothing.
look at the size of it.
It's a little
It's a
can.
teeny one.
Yeah.
It's a teeny one.
I did inform the crew that you were thinking of taking up energy drinks to supplement your Diet Coke deficiency.
Yeah, my Zoa. I've been drinking the Zoa.
Zoa, that's what it was. I couldn't remember the name of
Somebody said
it.
that's got even more caffeine than Diet Coke. I said, good. So,
But you can't drink coffee.
no, I don't.
That's
like
all the caffeine you'd need.
I don't like coffee. I don't like hot liquid.
I'm actually with Patrick. I don't like coffee either. I'm not a
Oh,
coffee
I couldn't live without it.
fan.
Is that on the list, coffee?
You know,
Oh, it could be, I suppose.
we got a big coffee pot down in the kitchen.
I went.
We got a nice coffee pot.
Yeah.
I wish I knew how to make coffee. It saved me a lot of money.
Yeah.
Because whenever I go out in the morning, I got to bring back a cup of coffee, right?
Boy, it's you know what? It really isn't hard.
No, I know, but
Yeah.
I didn't.
Of course, you're the guy who had to be taught how to open a bag of chips.
Yes, I've gotten good at that, by the way.
Gee.
Unless they're big.
Where's the scissors? I need to stab this bag.
Well, the best was when you.
I was only 75 when I learned that trick.
You were.
That's right.
Well, the best was when you asked the receptionist for the scissors, and she said, "Okay, sure." And I said, "You know what he's going to use this for, right?"
Stab a bag of chips.
It was. I think it was popcorn was the initial culprit. But yeah,
Yes. I know.
And you just hear this
I think I
pop.
tried that a couple of times earlier in life, and I just couldn't get it open. So I said that.
Were you at a youth hockey game?
Not for a couple of weeks. I was at one a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Not for a while. I got to call my guy, Lukey boy, see how his trip to D.C. was, though. They had 200 eighth graders from
Holy cow.
Woodbury made the.
I'm sure that was cheap.
Trip out to D.C. I don't know what they spent, but
Did they fly?
yeah, they had like 30 chaperones with them, and they kept them busy on buses. They didn't let them run around, and I guess they had 4 to a room, and then they put them in their rooms at 10 o'clock and put tape across the door, and if anybody got tape, they'd have to fly home with one of the chaperones.
Really?
If the tape was broken in the morning,
Well, how would you know which one of the 4 violated the tape?
the whole room would be responsible.
The room would have to go.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they
That's
get
another
them out to
scam the
DC.
teachers thought up.
Yeah.
Huh? Let's go to D.C. for a week.
I don't
Was
know.
this MEA?
Yeah, they were left Thursday morning and came home Sunday, I think. Maybe Wednesday. They left Thursday morning. They left Thursday morning, and they. But if you got 200 kids coming from Woodbury, okay, how many? There's 50 states. How many people are? How many?
Yeah.
How many thousands of kids do they have there every weekend?
I have no idea.
Going there to see the sights. So,
Do you get the? Have you watched Thursday Night Football ever
once
on
in a-
Prime?
Yeah.
There's something wrong
For
with
about
the
10
sound
minutes.
and the filming. It's different. It's just there's something different about it.
Yeah, they don't. It's not that it's not in sync because it is.
It's
just,
in sync, but it sounds like Al Michaels is about a mile away.
Yeah, that he's doing
He's
the
in
game.
a different building.
Yeah, you're right.
And as a guy of advanced age, I shouldn't be saying this, but Al lost his fastball a while ago, don't you think?
Yeah.
Maybe 10 years ago.
I think he was. I remember reading something about this when they took him off NBC. That it took a little bit out of him. He
Yeah.
thought he was being demoted, which I mean he essentially was.
Yes. I mean, he's 81, though, right?
Yeah.
81, something like that. Al was, a long time ago that Al confronted me during the
Oh, no.
87 World Series at the batting cage.
What'd you do?
I'm just still St. Paul, but I written a column saying, because this was the announcers are prejudiced for the Cardinals.
Sure.
And I wrote a column saying, you're being stupid. Who cares what Al Michaels is saying, something like that, and the whole deal. And Al, I've always respected you. And I said, Al, I was thinking, Al, you don't even know who I was. Until I wrote this column, so don't tell me that. But Al,
He's really touchy.
he is.
Because I said something once about when he was here for Monday Night Football, or maybe a Sunday game, I don't know. They completely ignored St. Paul, and I pointed that
the
out.
All-Star game.
The
The
All-Star game.
All-Star game, they ignored St.
I pointed
Paul.
that out, and he emailed me and
Yes.
said, "Well, you're completely wrong."
Yes.
No, I said, "No, you didn't. You didn't acknowledge St. Paul at all.
No,
nothing."
It was the All-Star game in the Metrodome,
Including
85.
would Winfield have played in that game? St. Paul guy?
They had 3 guys, Morris, Molitor, and Winfield.
Oh,
were
wow.
all on the American League team. But, yeah, they were supposed to have, down on the landing, they were supposed to do the morning show down on the landing on the river, and the Minneapolis people raised hell, and they moved it back over to, because they didn't do anything. I was in St. Paul, and Uberoth doing his press conference, and he said, anybody here from out of town? And I said, I am.
Yeah.
St. Paul. I said, we're only represented by players, not any other, The only thing we got is the dirt of St. Paul with us that these kids grew up on the playgrounds playing with.
Wow.
So,
Four of them in the Hall of Fame within about 2 miles of each other.
yes. LaVelle went and rode it, and I think drove it, and I think it was 1.8 miles or something.
Oh, my God.
2.2 miles.
Have you noticed
By the way, LaBelle going in for a little quick little heart surgery and get fixed. I maybe shouldn't be telling you that, but good luck to the
good luck to
the
LaBelle.
very personable
little
young
valve
man.
deal, maybe?
A little. It's not a. It might not even be might not be an overnight. If-
Maybe a stent.
I mean, something like that. Maybe.
Good.
Maybe.
Go Lavelle.
Yes.
Have you noticed the NHL schedule? The Wild are not home this month. They were home for what? 2 games.
7 straight road games.
The next
What do we
year,
care? We've never been behind.
Their next 3 are at Florida, at Tampa Bay, at Philadelphia.
They're not home this month?
Well, not till the 29th, I don't
If
think.
we beat Florida, we're for real. When do we play Florida tonight?
Tomorrow night,
And then Tampa the next night?
Thursday night, and then at Philadelphia Saturday night.
I might have mentioned this.
No, Saturday noon.
Philadelphia sucks, by the way.
How about the goalie scoring a goal the other night?
Yes, first time
It was
in
a nice
history.
shot.
That was a great
First
shot.
time in history. Gus the Bus.
That was great.
They basically were going to try to trade him. Now I don't think they can trade him.
No, you got to
He's
keep him now.
He's playing great, and the Flower looks like a sib. The Flower only played that one game, right?
And it was bad.
When he looked like a sib.
Let me ask you something else about the schedule. The Timberwolves start the regular season
Tomorrow
tomorrow?
night in
In-
Los
in
Angeles
LA.
Starts the regular season.
with about a 9:15 kickoff.
9:30. No,
It says 9, but
But it's national TV, so it means
9 o'clock TNT.
yes, but it'll be the second game.
It'll be
Double
9:20.
header, So it'll be
Yeah.
9:20 at the
What do they
end.
care in LA? It'll be 7:20.
true.
Yes, but
But you got, you know what? You got tomorrow. Isn't tomorrow the start of high school football playoffs?
yes, Tuesday night.
Tuesday night.
The 6A doesn't start till Friday.
Friday. Okay.
And no matter what your record is, you get to be in the high school playoffs. Right?
Yes, unless you've decided not to play, like some. You know what's become common now late in
saw
the
this.
season? Not common, but fairly frequent forfeits. If you're
They run out of
If
players.
you're down low on players and you don't want to get your ass kicked one more time, Maple Lake, which is I know it's a town team baseball power. They were getting clobbered and they'd lost a bunch of players. They forfeited to Eden Valley Watkins, which is number one in the state. A couple of weeks ago, I saw that.
Well, the other thing, too, is I remember talking to somebody about this, saying, well, the last thing you want to do is have a bunch of eighth graders playing seniors. They're all going to get murdered.
That is true, but it's,
not.
you get in a situation that, some towns got great football numbers and everything's
Right.
fine, and some of them
Not
don't have any players.
murders as in lopsided score.
No.
Like, literally, these kids will get hurt. Against,
Oh, God, yes.
and then you're really in trouble.
I'm sure every
Who in the hell's
team's
playing eighth graders?
Well, because of what Pat's saying, you've lost so many kids throughout the
yeah.
season, you don't have enough kids to compete.
And Maple Lake, from what I heard, didn't have many kids out to start with, and then they, I don't know, they've fallen on hard times.
Well, is there a noticeable decline in the numbers of kids playing
not
football?
all places. It's some places, but not all places.
Eden Prairie probably doesn't have a problem.
Well, they don't have nearly as many as they used to.
Really?
God,
What
they
about
used to-
Maple
they used
Grove?
To go out there and Maple Grove's got a huge.
Because your
number, I'm
theory
sure.
is the northwestern
That's right.
suburbs are
and
taking off.
and this way and that way.
Yeah.
Woodbury and Maple Grove is the Woodbury of
Chaska
many-
and Chanhassen are still pretty healthy.
Chaska
with
and-
Minnetonka healthy?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because Minnetonka's school district doesn't have diddly to do with the lake, really. I mean, it's this huge area. It's half of Wayzata, and it's a huge high school. That's so. Yeah, they're okay, but anyway, Eden Prairie bounced back though. They had 2 or 3 losses this year.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I saw that they had lost to, was it North or South? I saw that earlier this year. I can't remember which one.
No.
The University of St. Thomas has bounced back.
Yes,
with 3
to
straight.
the Pioneer League. Do we have a home? Yeah, I bet we have homecoming this. We must have homecoming this week.
I can
they
pull it
in
up
your
for
ag-
you.
You going to go to the dance?
No.
They've been gone for 2 straight weeks, so I think they're home.
Gopher men's hockey hosts St. Thomas
Yes.
this weekend.
Yeah, is one of them at the X again? Last year they had one at the X, and they sold it. They had
don't
a
know.
big crowd.
We take on San Diego. The
Where,
Tommies
here?
do here at 11:30.
Ooh, I might have to go to that game. That's a good game.
They keep building that arena at St. Thomas.
Yeah, they don't.
Despite the lawsuits,
Yes.
they just think, just
Yeah,
keep pounding.
Just keep going. If we get
Keep
done,
pounding away.
If we get done, they won't be able to stop us.
It's not the building that people are objecting
Traffic.
to. It's the traffic.
Yes.
You can't even see the building.
No,
But you got to know where to look if you're driving down Cretin.
It's all traffic. is
Tucked
what-
away in there.
It is.
They needed to find a rare
here's-
moth or something, to a butterfly or something.
Here's the problem. You could build a big ramp, right? Unfortunately, it would take you 4 days to get out of it.
Yeah.
They would be blacked up to. They're going to have to come up with a way to bus people in or some damn thing.
Well, kids will walk.
Yes. Yeah, that's not a problem.
It only is going to hold 5,000.
Well, if those selfish jerks who own Town and Country Club
Exactly.
would only have sold that land to St. Thomas, we wouldn't have this problem.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with those.
Well, my
They're
theory about
they
that
used to
was...
call it Town and Catholic.
Yeah. Write me a check. The offer they made was ridiculous.
Yes. I heard it was 20 or something.
Oh, no, it was more than that, but it was not enough.
No, obviously not. Obviously. What else can we tear down around there?
There's
There's
nothing
gotta be
left.
something to tear down.
Housing.
How about...
Too late now. They're building this thing.
Summit is quite... Yeah, but I'm worried about parking.
Oh.
Summit, as I said to athletic director Eston, this, the big student union building, I said, is there any thought of tearing that down and putting that parking lot back?
Oh,
that you
there's
used to have
there's
in
no
front?
thought of that.
You used to have this nice parking lot in front,
Yep.
and you had to build this big, meaningless student union.
Where the
Student
Anderson...
union, you need a couch for somebody to sit on. That's all you need.
the Anderson Athletic and Recreation Complex, that used to be just a parking lot.
Yes.
That was parking.
Yes, that's where you parked in front.
Yeah.
You kind of walked
Yeah.
around, drove
What
around.
else can we tear down?
Drove around. And gotta have somebody to tear
Nobody's
down.
becoming a priest anymore. Can you tear down half
yes,
those cemetery
that's
buildings?
Right. Seminary building.
Not cemetery.
Yeah.
Seminary.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, no,
There's a
priests.
beautiful old church back there. They better not tear that down.
I don't think they'll go tear down a church. I don't know.
Well, you're the one who was wondering what we can tear down. I'm just trying to come up with an answer.
Yes, it's not. It's.
There's priest residence along
Yes.
the river, but you can't. What are they going to do with the boys? You can't kick them out into the street.
No.
Put them in the governor's mansion.
Although the priests don't last as long as the nuns.
Oh, nuns can get up there.
Priests lived 80, maybe, like the
Yeah,
rest of us.
nuns are
80,
104.
82. Nuns are. I always told you the Sister Finbar story.
No.
Sister Finbar she's a cousin of the McDonald's
Yep.
from Waldorf. She came to my mother's funeral in 1962, Sister Finbar. And I said, how old is she? I thought she was like 50 then, at least. About 6 years ago, my cousin Kathleen told me Sister Finbar died. I said, what?
How old was she?
Had to be 114. I mean, I don't know. She had to be an easy 100.
Yeah.
I said, what? She was.
What a great name, Finbar.
Finbar,
There's a
yeah.
lot of Christian brothers named Finbar. Uh-huh. Who was Finbar?
I don't know.
Look up
I
Finbar.
bet he got
right.
killed.
I'd like to know who Finbar was.
Who is the safety man?
I bet
Who is-
Finbar is a martyr because it's a very popular.
Ah,
You know what was the best way to get to be a saint?
die.
A martyr.
Yeah.
You'd be a martyr. Yeah.
Finbar. Who was he?
Is the
Really?
patron saint of the Irish city of Cork.
I knew it was an Irish
And,
deal.
what made him a
What'd he
saint?
do?
What made him a
Well,
saint?
hang on. Let me pull up his wiki.
He had to have a miracle
I
if
don't
he's a
think-
saint. It can't be a card
Finbar
trick.
is an Irish given name that may also be spelled.
we don't
care about
We
that.
want to know why he got this.
I'm trying to find the origin here.
Maybe the people in Cork said, "Hey, that county over there's got a saint. We should have one too." When did he get in? I wonder when Finbar got in as sainthood.
That's not what I'm looking for.
I'm glad your mom's not listening to this, Joe. It wouldn't be good.
Saint Finbar.
Yep.
Yeah.
Here we go.
What'd he do?
Man or woman?
Come on.
Gregory the Great Catholic Church, often distinguished by his remarkably light hair, earned the nickname Finbar, meaning white hair in Gaelic.
White hair.
That
Why
made
the
him
hell
a
would you
saint.
take a name just because the guy was white hair?
Wasn't my rule. I have no idea.
What did he? What did he do to be a saint?
Yes.
Oh, you guys are asking.
You know, it can't be that hard. It's on the Google.
Saint Finbar.
Born
Yeah, when was he born?
Known for his devotion and spiritual journeys, St. Finbar embarked on multiple pilgrimages to Rome. On one such journey, he had the privilege of visiting the Reverend St. David of Wales. With the fervor to spread the word, he preached extensively across Southern Ireland, and there are accounts suggesting that he might have traveled to Scotland as well.
When would this have been?
1550 to 623.
Back in the medieval
Sorry,
time.
550 to 623.
He's that far back?
Way back then, Joe.
Well, then what did he do for a sainthood?
He had white hair.
Born in 550, died in 623.
Oh, that's nothing. That's too far. I don't know anything.
Perhaps one of the most enduring legacies is the monastery founded on the River Lee. Sacred establishment would evolve over time, into the city today known as Cork, Ireland,
I'll be damned.
honoring his contributions.
I don't see anything yet that would say put him in there, but what the hell.
But he is a saint.
Yeah, he is. St. Finbar, he's in there. It says right there.
He must be the
550.
patron saint of something.
I don't know. I think the standards were lower back in the 550.
Well,
What this guy do?
He's
got the hair.
The pool of candidates was less.
Yeah, that's right. It was. It was. Hey,
But
we
white
need-
hair is not enough to be. I'm not naming myself because the guy had white hair.
You give me something.
Give me something to work with.
Yeah, well,
He had
there
to
you go.
cure a horse or something. Something. He had to do a miracle.
Yes, or fought off the Gothic somebody.
Catapults. I'm seeing catapults and I'm seeing those knights in armor. The whole deal. He had to do something.
Anyway, Sister Finbar lived a long
Finbar. And there's a lot of brother Finbars, sister Finbar.
Do they all have white hair?
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
Well,
Eventually.
she made it to 104. She did.
Yeah, eventually they all do.
All righty.
Goodbye.
So the Vikes, you guys aren't worried about the Vikes.
I'm not worried about
Not
Okay.
worried.
I
Gotcha.
think I'm worried about the Lions being good. That's
Yeah, they
I'm having
really
a hard
are.
time accepting that.
Especially when you lost your
How
best player a week ago.
Yeah. How about this, Joe? Anybody ever think they'd live long enough to see Indiana 56, Nebraska 7?
No.
Unbelievable.
That is amazing.
They're 7-0. They've
Yep.
never been behind. This guy just came in from James Madison last November.
They did I was watching the new Channel 9, or the Fox pregame bit, and they had an exclusive with him because they did the game at 11 o'clock.
He's a cocky fellow.
Oh, you think? They just said, they showed one of his,
Opening press conference.
he said, well, what, he goes, I win.
Yeah, he says, they said, what are you going to do to attract players to Indiana? And he says, it's simple. I win.
When's the last time Indiana was in a Super Bowl?
Not a Super Bowl. You mean,
I'm sorry, Rose Bowl.
Rose Bowl. They were only in once, I believe, in '67 when they tied with us and Purdue for the championship. We had defeated Indiana, but that was back where the tiebreaker was the team that had went last, and Indiana had never gone. Minnesota and Purdue had both gone.
So they went once.
They went once in '67. Gophers beat them, but then Purdue beat the Gophers. And then in the last week of the season, if Purdue had beaten Indiana, as everybody thought they would, the Gophers would have went to a third Rose Bowl. But
Wow.
That's when Sid had to be in his glory, back in the days when those games meant
oh
something.
God, yes,
And you traveled by train.
yes.
Now, with the college football new setup, would that prevent Indiana from going?
Why?
Well, because
So I think the bowls are going to be the four major bowls are going to be the quarterfinals
Okay.
of the playoffs.
Okay, gotcha.
So one of
Big-
them will be the Rose
Big-
Bowl.
The Big Ten thing is
That's over with.
they
That's
might
gone.
They might choose a Big Ten team that's in the Final Eight to be out there, but the conference is gone.
Yeah.
I mean there's
There's
piecing,
15 teams.
They're piecing something together.
And that USC win looks less impressive by the week.
After they lost at Maryland, USC is going to come into the Big Ten and look out. And as somebody pointed out, they broke up an entire league so they could go to Minnesota and Maryland and get beat.
Yeah.
Losing to the Maryland is a bigger upset than losing to the Gophers.
Is that who the Gophers have next, by the way?
Maryland here, yes.
Here,
Should
Maryland.
should
Is it
be.
homecoming?
2:30.
Or did we already do homecoming?
2:30 in the afternoon.
I don't know. Even though I'm a proud former attendee, The wife and I haven't gone to the dance yet. Do we have a dance?
I don't think we have a dance
Oh,
anymore.
you got to have a homecoming dance.
We do that at the club.
Yeah,
That's where the homecoming dance
I
is.
bet.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
I need to hear from you with our good friends at the Valley Group of GM dealers, because I know you have notes prepared.
82 degrees today.
Oh, the top is
It's
down.
a Monday. There wasn't much traffic, so I got a hunch that, we got the MEA carryover today.
Oh, yeah.
The people who, a lot of schools now take the Monday off, too, right? Mm-hmm. Get the kids in the car. Go out to Jim Paul's Valley Group of GM dealers in Apple Valley or Hastings. Factory rebates, low interest rates, full stock, four SUVs, four Buick SUVs, fantastic. The Regal station wagon guy has the endorsement of some real big car guys, and we also have the Hummer EV that Such might not be buying, but some other people might be interested. I'm not sure what the number is for the Hummer EV, but they'll make you a good deal if that's your kind of vehicle. Anyway, Jim Paul, Brett Paul, Valley Group of GM dealers. This has had to be a fantastic fall for car selling, looking at cars, buying new cars. I've been around for a long time. This has been the most beautiful fall I have ever experienced in Minnesota. Yep. Today, 82 degrees. Head on out there. Hastings and Apple Valley. Jim Paul and Brett Paul's Valley Group of GM dealers. Great deals. Low interest rates. What more do you want?